Giù la schiavitù, vogliamo la libertà, siamo lavoratori, e giù la schiavitù, vogliamo la libertà, siamo lavoratori, vogliamo la libertà. E ancor ben che siamo donne.
Che prenditi di cavolo, vai!
Noi
This is Pasta Galore. It's a pasta festival.
Per amare nostri figli, noi legami ci mettiamo.
Everything's under control, thanks to all the great preparative work done by the comrades.
Bella ciao, 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 la mattina. Giù la schiavitù, vogliamo la libertà, siamo lavoratori, e giù la schiavitù, vogliamo la libertà, siamo lavoratori, vogliamo la libertà.
Always good quality pasta. Italian hard-grained pasta.
I'd like to extend to you all from the bottom of our heart a very warm and comprehensive welcome to the lands of the Wonga people and the Gadigal people who've been here for thousands and thousands of years. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night.
Tonight is a celebration of the 81st anniversary of the Pasta Antifascista. It remembers a time in 25th of July 1943 when Mussolini was finally thrown out of power in Italy. The family Chadavi were working as this news broke, and they came back from where they were working out in their fields and decided that they would offer pasta asciutta to people in the piazza. They went and on credit bought the flour to make the pasta. They used the butter and the cheese from their own storage and offered it to anyone that came by. And one of the people they offered the pasta to was a man in a black shirt who until that time had been a supporter of Mussolini. As we'll see a film later on tonight, and someone will explain the film is about what happened to the 7 brothers of that family, because even though they offered free pasta and celebrated the fall of Mussolini, they ended up as being victims of Nazi fascism in Italy. It's important to remember these moments and the history of those moments, but also to ensure that we remember the relevance and the actuality and of what's happening today. We have to remember that I think people have to remember in their own imaginary that the fascism in Italy and the Nazis in Germany didn't acquire power by military means. They didn't, have the armies take over the governments of those countries. Both Hitler and Mussolini were invited by the heads of states to be part of the governments of those countries. They formed alliances with centre-right and right-wing parties to protect the interests of large business, capital, and the interests of basically the powerful within those societies. They turned into dictatorships. They turned into regimes which brought destruction to thousands and millions of people. But we have to remember that those were the circumstances how they arrived at power. The reason why I mention that is for us to remember that we can't live with a sense of security that parliamentary democracy itself is a bulwark against fascism and the tendencies towards fascism. We have to be more vigilant than that. And we have to be vigilant about the processes of elections and the processes of who has power in determining and governing and influencing decision-making in countries. How we organise at a grassroots level. How we ensure that we don't walk by moments where we understand that marginalised groups are being further marginalised. That they, as an excuse for, inverted commas, that we're all going to be better and we don't want to privilege, certain groups within our society. In an Australian context, I think people at times also forget that, for some reason Australia has been, how can I say it, saved from the scourge of fascism. I think, just from what the great welcome to country from Uncle Jimmy reminded us all of, this country is built on one of the most extreme forms of fascism, which is colonialism. It was colonised, the lands have not been ceded, we are still living in colonised lands, and all of us in this room who are not First Nations people are benefiting from that colonisation. And that's something that we'll have to constantly remind ourselves of. And as Uncle Jimmy said, the referendum came and the result was what it was. But for all of the defeat of the referendum, we also got to a point where 5.5 million people in this country supported that. And we have to harness that energy to bring around fundamental change to decolonise Australia. And in that context, I think we have to remember that this place has had resistance fighters from the day of colonisation. We have had Pummelweed, Aboriginal mosquito, a whole list of resistance fighters, First Nations resistance fighters, who fought the colonisers and that form of fascism in this country. And we should remember that as part and be proud of that history and make it part of our own history when we stand up and talk about Australia. And we should also talk about the history of Australians who volunteered and went and fought in the 15th International Brigade on the side of the government of the day, fighting Franco's fascist forces. There were over, as far as we know, we can tell, there were maybe 24 to 34 people who died in those wars, as Australians, who went there and fought. But we don't know the real number because, in a way, you really couldn't say that's what you're going over to fight for. And amongst those people were people who were predominantly from trade union movement, from what was then the Labor Party and from the Communist Party of Australia, sent people over there to fight. We have a tradition of fighting fascism in this country, overseas, but we also have to develop a greater tradition of fighting fascism in this country. Now that I've banged on for a bit, I just want to do a few housekeeping things. One is, I would really take the moment to do a couple of acknowledgements. One is, this is the first public gathering that we have had as Filef, together with Addison Road, in this place. And I think it'd be remiss if I didn't mention that in the interim period since we've all got together, we lost a very dear comrade, Russ Herman. Russ Herman was a great supporter and ally of Filef and supported us for over 40 years, as long as I can remember. And he was also the first chairperson of the committee here at Addison Road. And I'd like to also remember the great work that Russ did. And I'd like to acknowledge Eileen, his partner, who's here with us tonight. Thanks, Eileen. When we talk about anti-fascism in this country and the fight for progressive forces for progressive issues in this country, I know at times unions are maligned, and we're in the moment of having unions terribly maligned unbelievably by the media at this point in time. But what is now the Maritime Union of Australia, Waterside Workers Federation and all its incarnations, has been at the forefront of fighting for progressive issues in this country. And in particular, the work that their film unit of documenting struggles in Australia has undertaken is something that we still see the benefits of today. And we have representatives of the MUA here tonight. Unfortunately, Norma Disher, who is a founder of the film unit of the Waterside Workers Federation and also a member of the New Theatre, who is just about 101, about to turn 102, wasn't able to make it tonight. But we pass on our best wishes to Norma, and we hope that they are transmitted back to her. And we thank the MUA for all the great work it has done and continues to do, and the support that it's given Filef and a whole range of progressive organisations and communities in this country. Last acknowledgement is to a range of people I'm going to read list out now, which are Mandy King, Fabio Cavadini, Jake Lloyd-Jones, and Bruno Di Biase, who are the people who prepared the pasta tonight. these comrades have been cooking for days, and I assume their households and their neighbours and their close family and friends have had enough of the smell of pesto, bolognese, napolitana, matriciana being cooked in their houses. Sorry? Go for more food? Yeah. There's a lot of pasta left, so keep eating. You know, if people come late, that's their bad luck. But now, with that, the only other housekeeping thing is when you finish with your plates, if you can take them back towards the kitchen, it'll be helpful for us because that means we can help clean them up and keep using non-recyclable plates for more pasta. And now, I would like to call on Cesare, who has something to do. Thank you very much.
We're going to have some musical entertainment with Australian singer Sonia Zadro. On the electric guitar, Jack Elias. On the accordion player, John Irish. They are three members of a band called Terza Madre, Third Mother. They specialized on pop songs, popular songs from the 60s, made famous by such artists as Mina, Milva, and Domenico Modugno. They originally formed in 2017, and then, in 2013, then they stopped in 2017 for reasons I do not know, and they regrouped last year. So, here we are, musicians, where are they? Sonia, Jack and John. Terza Madre. Sonia will sing Bella Ciao in the original version from the Rice Pickers, Le Mondine. An original version from Piemonte, on which the partisans wrote different lyrics, which were partisan lyrics, of course. Then she will sing Palestina Rossa, Red Palestine, and also Vogliamo l'uguaglianza. We want equality.
Alla mattina appena alzata, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Alla mattina appena alzata, Irisaya mi toccanda, e fra gli insetti e le zanzare, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. E fra gli insetti e le zanzare, duro lavoro mi tocco fare. Il capo in piedi col suo bastone, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Il capo in piedi col suo bastone, e noi curve a lavorare, e noi curve a lavorare. Il capo in piedi col suo bastone, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Il capo in piedi col suo bastone, e noi curve a lavorare, e noi curve a lavorare. Mamma mia, oh che tormento, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, 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 oh mamma mia, oh che tormento, io ti invoco ogni donna ed ogni ora da cui passiamo, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, 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 ed ogni ora da cui passiamo. Noi perdiamo la gioventù, ma vero un giorno che tutte quante, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, 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 ma vero un giorno che tutte quante lavoreremo in libertà, ma vero un giorno che tutte quanti lavoreremo in libertà. Ma avere un giorno che tutte quante lavoreremo in libertà.
Grazie, thank you. This isn't strictly a partigiano song. This is a song by Umberto Fiori from 1973 called Rosa Palestina. We're doing it very slow and sad.
Laggiù nel Medio Oriente, come un bufalo ferito, infilo il pirata americano. Ma noi campi sulle dune, sono armati anche i bambini, ogni donna impugna il suo fucile. Ma non la tua terra tu devi liberare. Abbiamo alzato rosso, il verde, il bianco, il nero, stretto in pugno la bandiera, i colori di Al-Fatah. Abbiamo alzato rosso, il verde, stretto in pugno, la bandiera, il colore di Al-Fatah. Al di là di questo mare c'è un popolo fratello, ogni lotta aiuta un'altra lotta, ogni colpo separato sul nemico si onesta, in Italia colpisce che comanda, coi popoli rivolta si innova oggi la storia. Rivoluzione fino alla vittoria. Abbiamo alzato rosso, il verde, il bianco, il nero, stretto in pugno la bandiera, i colori di Al-Fatah. Abbiamo alzato rosso, il verde, il bianco, il nero, stretto in pugno la bandiera, i colori di Al-Fatah.
This is our last song. it's a bit cheerier. If you know the words, feel free to sing along. Can you do that again? We all just got pregnant just then. That was mad. Do it again.
Noi vogliamo l'uguaglianza, siamo chiamati malfattori, ma noi siamo lavoratori che padroni non vogliamo. E giù la schiavitù, vogliamo la libertà, siamo lavoratori, e giù la schiavitù, vogliamo la libertà, siamo lavoratori, vogliamo la libertà. E ancor ben che siamo donne, noi paura non abbiamo per amare dei nostri figli. Noi legami ci mettiamo e giù la schiavitù, vogliamo la libertà, siamo lavoratori, e giù la schiavitù, vogliamo la libertà, siamo lavoratori, vogliamo la libertà. Noi vogliamo l'uguaglianza, se chiamati malfattori, ma noi siamo lavoratori che padroni non vogliamo. E tu la quale tu, vogliamo la libertà, siamo lavoratori, e giù la schiavitù, vogliamo la libertà, siamo lavoratori, vogliamo la libertà, e giù la schiavitù, vogliamo la libertà, siamo lavoratori, e giù la schiavitù, vogliamo la libertà, siamo lavoratori, vogliamo la libertà. Okay, that's it.
Oh, thank you to Terza Madre, Sonia Zadro, Jack Elias, John Irish. We'll just tidy up here and then we will commence the screening of I Sette Fratelli Cervi, the seven Cervi brothers, assassinated by fascists.
Addie Road has always been a space and a place for people to gather since 1976. And today we also honoured Russ Herman, one of the first activists in the communities in the 70s that fought to secure this space for ethnic specific communities that were gathering at Addie Road, not just to help their communities to settle in Australia, but also to express themselves through their culture and through their art. So it's always been a very important space. It continues to be a very important space. And I thank each and every one of you, because in one way or another you are all involved in the Addy Road Community Centre and all welcome. We'd love this space to be declared a sovereign state. We hope that it represents a country called Australia, but we know that it doesn't. I've also been asked to speak tonight because I am the daughter of who we believe is the only surviving Italian partigiano. My father, Amelio Modesto Barbero. My father is 98 years old, and at the age of 17, my father was armed and he fought against fascism. His brother, who was 3 years older, was captured by the Nazis, and he ended up in a concentration camp in Dachau and Mauthausen. He survived, but out of the 362 Piemontese partigiani that were captured, my uncle was one of 2 that survived. He was a proud card-holding member of the Piemontese Communist Party of Italy, the Partito Comunista Italiano, PCI, until the day that he died. I told my father that we were celebrating tonight, and my father said, tell everybody to keep fighting, to keep fighting. And so I'm just going to end by saying, Viva la rivoluzione! Yeah.